Hey, what's up everyone, this is Sean and welcome to another brand new video here on the Magic and Thrills. Hey, what's up everyone, this is Sean and welcome to another brand new video here on the Magic and Thrills. Now in this video, today's video, I wanted to kind of go over a really interesting kind of discussion or thought that I've had in the last few weeks. Now that pretty much Epic Universe with the Universal Orlando is opening up in less than 2 months or about 2 months. And I was just thinking about how both of these companies, meaning Universal and Disney, of course, announced their events as far as like their media goes. And it's interesting to think about because with Universal, they don't really have any type of a major expo like Disney has with D23, Destination D23 every year, where it usually switches between Orlando and then Anaheim between the two, and they do it every year. And it's more of a, it's really more of a fan event, but they do have like the 3 to 4 hour PowerPoint presentation or keynote presentation on I think it's like the Friday night usually. So like last year was August 9th, 10th, and 11th of 2024 in Anaheim, and that's where they announced all the the big ideas essentially of what was coming in the next couple of years and beyond. And it's interesting to me because Universal does not really have this. They just flat out announce things in online and social media. And they have like podcasts and stuff, like where their creative team will go on a podcast and do like a nice, like usually in-depth hour-long discussion, which I think is really, really rad too, because it gives you a much more in-depth detail on what they're planning on doing, and like even like some of the issues they maybe have had, or like what inspired them to choose certain things and certain reasons for why they did what they did. And especially with the Epic Universe Park opening up in 2 months or less now, there's been a lot more of these podcasts where they invite a different member of the team, of that Universal creative team, who have really been there or been on many, many projects over the past couple of years, and just kind of giving their in-depth thought. And they do this for all their stuff too. It's not just Epic Universe, is also for they do it for yearly for Halloween Horror Nights usually, and just a general like food kind of thing, like a breakdown of what food they have, and just really cool things like that, where they don't do a massive event of an expo of a whole weekend like Disney does. And it just got me thinking of how maybe Disney should stop doing D23, because I feel like it's not really necessary as much anymore, because all the things that they're announcing or promising or just being like, hey, here's what we have, like rad, like, and it's cool because they do have people that are like, they have a lot of the actors and voice people who, the voice actors who are in the actual feature films or shows, come onto the stage and do their presentations for like a few minutes here and there usually for each thing. And that's what makes them so long, honestly, as they do that, which is, it's a cool idea. I like that. That's kind of cool to go to an expo as a fan, as a Disney fan, and just see that they, and just have and experience people being like live and in person. I like that part. But other than that, I don't really think it's to their benefit anymore, because I know it's based off of the really old, I think it was like the Disney what they call it back in the day, like back in like the 60s or the 70s, where it was just like the New York World Fair, I think it was, or the World Fair is what they called it, where they would go and present everything in the same kind of fashion. It's obviously been modernized now to what it is now with like video and all the teasers and that kind of thing, but I just don't think that lately it's been going to Disney's favor. And I'm saying this as a fan, because like all the things that they presented last year were all things that were the things that were coming out that are going to be opening up the next year and a half or so are not really needing that kind of an announcement, if you ask me. It's really more stuff like where it's like, okay, you can really just do like a Facebook post. And what's funny too, or a social media post, and it's funny because they actually do that anyway. So the moment that it's announced at D23, it goes online anyways, and that's really where I get all my newsfeed from. Like I will watch the Destination D23 because they usually have like all the vloggers go. And I guess from that perspective, it's a cool experience. I don't know if it's maybe they don't need to have it, but I just think that it's a very interesting thing in the past, because it used to be, like, they really use it as their, like Disney really uses it as their prime platform for all the announcements, but they really do it for, it's a fan event, so you go there, you pay the money, and then it's not cheap. It's usually $300 or $400 for the whole weekend, that kind of thing, depending on if you do the whole weekend experience and what type. Because I remember trying to do it or looking into pricing a couple years ago, and it was like $400, and then it's, usually it always sells out the same day, because it's like a Run Disney event for that. But I just got thinking recently where I'm like, do they really need to have that anymore, when all their ideas and announcements that have come from it in the past couple of years are for things that are kind of just simple retheming. Like, I mean, like Tiana's Bayou Adventure was announced through. I mean, all their announcements are, but it's really, they really use it as a platform for movie announcements, sequels, you know, things that are coming to Disney Plus. And I don't think that they really, again, I don't think that they really need to have that done that way, because it's not really, to my opinion, to their benefit anymore, where they could really just do it as a, again, as a social media post and just do it that way and let the actual media, like the thing, the film or the show or the ride kind of speak for itself. But, and I know it's been going on for a very long time. It's one of the original like creative, you know, fan endeavor, you know, fan events where they, you know, they've been doing it for a very long time. So I'm not knocking that part of it. I just feel like recently, with how accessible everything is anyways, with like, if you're going to announce on social media for the rest of the world or for the general public to see right after, I guess to me it's like, kind of, what's the point of it? Because again, with Universal right now, they don't do that. They don't need to. They just do, you know, they announce everything on social media and then it takes off from there. Because really, in my opinion, if the thing you're featuring, whether it's a ride or a new movie or whatever it is good, then the word of mouth these days itself is gonna really kind of control it anyways, to that aspect, if you know what I mean, where it's like no matter what. Because I mean, Universal is like for example, for Halloween Horror Nights, Universal is kind of like best friends right now with Blumhouse. So they do their own thing, and then a lot of the stories or movies that come from the Blumhouse productions end up on the Halloween Horror Nights experience or partially, like some aspect of it can. And I think that's really rad that they do that, but they don't need to announce things. Like, they just drop stuff. And the other thing I love about it too, that I love Universal a little bit more on right now at least, is that for things like Epic Universe, like when they did single day tickets going on sale, they just drop them. That's it. And it's the same way for Halloween Horror Nights coming up. So like, we're into April, like tomorrow actually, and I'm just super stoked because usually April, typically, I mean, it was last year, so we'll see this year, but typically that's when Halloween Horror Nights gets announced or gets going, or tickets go on sale. So I just find it interesting that Universal just doesn't bother with it, and they just announce things. Because again, they have more of the confidence in the product, I would say, at least lately, in the past 5 to 10 years, that if it's good, then people will just talk about it anyways on again, through old-fashioned word of mouth, and then they'll use the same kind of budget that would be for D23, for example, and just do it that way. And they don't need to have a full expo for it. I'm not saying that they don't need one, but I don't think it's really to their benefit anymore, as far as Disney goes, to have really an event anymore when everything is, that they're, like, when all the major stuff is really going to be, at least 5 years out. Like, all their, the Villains Land and the Cars Land and Magic Kingdom and Disney World. I mean, they do announce things for Anaheim too, so it's not just Disney World, but really overall, everything that they announce that is held and featured at this event is things that are not going to be, again, in my opinion, that big of a deal anymore. And it's funny because I watched it wasn't live stream because they don't live stream or anything like that, but I watched all the Disney, the YouTubers, the vloggers, their recaps of it last year, of just 2024, and they were all kind of, I don't want to say disappointed, but they were all kind of like, okay, like, did that have to be, a 3 or 4 hour event? Like, they thought it was really cool for the expo, so maybe they can keep the expo part of it as far as like the event where you can see cool things that are, that are archival for Disney at that thing. But they were all kind of like disappointed because because usually, again, at least what happened last year was that they did the presentation on Friday, I think it was, and then Monday was when all the plans, like the blueprints, if you will, like the concept art, the first generation of concept art with more of a detailed plan dropped. And that's when the whole Cars Land announcement kind of backfired against Disney, because they did the whole announcement teaser, Josh D'Amaro did on Friday for the announcement on the events, and then Monday they dropped the details of where it was actually going, and that's when people freaked out. So I think, again, that's why I think it's not to their benefit anymore to do it that way, and just do it as a press release and let it word of mouth take over. That way you don't have to deal with that situation happening again. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. But I just think it's a very interesting subject or thing these days that they. Again, I think it's cool that they have it, but I don't think it needs to be or include a 3 to 4 hour presentation on what's up and coming. Because again, in my opinion, if you have a product or an experience that's really going to be that great or is that rad, and you have that much confidence in it, then I don't think that you really need to have that kind of experience anymore, personally, because again, Universal has not done that. They don't need to. They have enough confidence to where they're like, hey, we'll announce it, put tickets on sale, and then the ticket sales themselves will be the, the real, viewable tests. It's like, are your tickets selling or not? So again, that's just my feelings on it, and I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to get my take on it. So again, let me know what you think about that. So if you think that the Disney Destination D23 is kind of, again, I don't want to say irrelevant, but kind of should be changed a little bit for what it's really about, for that presentation part of it, let me know in the comments below. If you like or dislike it, if you've ever been to it, if it's worth the experience of what you pay for it. Again, I've never been to it, but every time I watch people that go to it, they usually love the actual expo part, but not always the presentation. So again, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.